You ever buy a home thinking you've made it? Quiet neighborhood, trimmed lawns, friendly faces, only to realize you've actually moved into a dictatorship. Run by one person with a clipboard and a superiority complex? Yeah, that was Maple Creek Estates. My name's Ethan Miller, and when my wife Amanda and I bought our place here, we thought we'd found peace. But that was before Karen Thompson became HOA president. And if you've ever met a real-life Karen, you know exactly where this is going. It started on an ordinary Tuesday. I was halfway through my morning coffee when I heard the mail flap. Figured it was the usual, that's bills, junk, maybe a coupon for pizza. But then I saw the red stamp on the envelope. I tore it open, and sure enough, there it was, in cold, bureaucratic language. Dear Mr. Miller, it has come to our attention that your trash bins were visible from the street, past 10:01 a.m. on Monday. This is a violation of Section 4, subsection B. A fine of $150 will be applied to your account. Please correct this immediately to avoid escalation. Signed, Karen W. Thompson, HOA President. I stared at it in disbelief. Trash bins, $150. Because the garbage truck was late. Amanda looked up from the kitchen counter. What's wrong? Apparently, I said, holding up the paper, we're endangering the neighborhood with our garbage cans. She groaned. Oh, it's starting again. Karen had been power tripping since the day she got elected. The woman carried a clipboard like a sheriff carries a badge. You couldn't so much as hang Christmas lights without her quoting bylaws from memory. But this was too much. So I decided to talk to her. She lived 3 houses down, the one with the perfect hedge line and 3 flags. The American flag, the HOA flag, and one that said Pride in Community. I knocked, letter in hand. She opened the door wearing pearls and an expression that screamed authority. Oh, Mr. Miller, she said. I assume this is about your violation. Yeah, I said, keeping my voice calm. Look, the trash company was late. Not really something I can control. Karen's lips tightened. Rules exist for a reason. If we make exceptions, we lose order. With all due respect, I said, it's just trash cans. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Rules are what keep Maple Creek beautiful. I expect compliance. Then she shut the door right in my face. That $150 fine was annoying, but what came next was worse. A few weeks later, I got another letter. This time, unauthorized paint color. Our front door, navy blue. The same color as 2 other houses on our street. But apparently ours wasn't approved. That's when I realized something. This wasn't about keeping the neighborhood nice. It was about control. I started asking around. And it turned out I wasn't the only one getting targeted. Bob next door got fined because his son's basketball hoop was visible from the road. Marcy got written up because her kids left bikes in the driveway. And old Mr. Jenkins, a 72-year-old veteran, got a warning for having garden gnomes that didn't fit the community aesthetic. Everyone had a story. Everyone was tired of it. So one evening we gathered in my garage. 6 neighbors, a box of donuts, and a stack of violation letters taller than my dog. This is ridiculous, Marcy said. She's turning this place into a police state. Bob nodded. She fined me for watering my lawn on the wrong day. The sprinklers are automatic. That's when I said it. What if we stop complaining and start doing something? Everyone looked at me. And right then, the Maple Creek Resistance was born. Unofficially, of course. We started small. I dug through the HOA's website and public documents. The bylaws were 57 pages long, outdated, full of contradictions, and, interestingly, missing financial transparency reports that should have been public by law. I printed a copy and showed it to the group. Look here, I said, pointing. They're supposed to report annual expenditures to the county by March, but there's nothing on file. Bob leaned forward. You think she's hiding something? I think, I said. Karen's gotten too comfortable being queen. A few days later, I attended the HOA meeting. She ran it like a courtroom. Clipboard in hand, glasses low on her nose. She called roll like we were all school children. Any new business? She asked, scanning the room. I raised my hand. Yeah, when will we see the financial reports for this year? Karen froze for a split second before smiling again. That's not necessary. The board has everything under control. With respect, I said. State law says the HOA's records are public. Homeowners have a right to view them. Her jaw tightened. Mr. Miller, we're not going to waste everyone's time with baseless accusations. But the murmurs around the room told me I wasn't alone. People were fed up. Karen didn't realize it yet. But the neighborhood she'd been ruling over was starting to turn on her. When I left that meeting, something in me shifted. For the first time since we moved to Maple Creek, I didn't feel powerless. I knew Karen had overstepped. And if she could bend the rules, maybe we could break the chains. So we kept digging. Public records, county filings, budget statements. And one night, Bob found it, buried deep in a county website archive. A letter dated 2 years earlier. Failure to submit annual financial disclosure may result in HOA suspension under County Code 8.3. She'd never filed anything. And that's when I realized Karen hadn't just broken the rules. She'd broken the law. When Bob found that county document, I swear my heart skipped. For months, we'd been treated like criminals for leaving trash bins out too long. But now, finally, we had something real. Karen had been running this HOA like a personal kingdom. But it turned out she hadn't even filed the mandatory reports that made the HOA legitimate. 2 years' worth of missing disclosures meant, technically, the HOA wasn't in compliance, which meant it might not even legally exist. We gathered in my garage that night, same crew, but this time the mood was electric. Marcy slammed the printout on the workbench. "You're telling me she's been fining us while breaking the law herself?" "Exactly," I said. "The county code's clear. Without annual financial disclosures, an HOA can be suspended or dissolved." Bob chuckled darkly. "Oh, this is beautiful. Queen Karen's castle built on sand." Amanda gave me that cautious look, the one that said, "Don't get carried away." "Ethan," she said quietly, "if you're gonna go after her, you better make sure it's airtight. Karen doesn't back down easy." She was right. Karen didn't play fair. But neither did I, not anymore. The next morning, I drove down to the county recorder's office. The clerk, a kind woman with glasses named Denise, looked up when I showed her the papers. "Maple Creek Estates, huh?" she said, typing something into her computer. "Yeah, that HOA's behind on filings. I see 2 years of missed reports. That's a big no-no." "What does that mean exactly?" I asked. "Well," she said, clicking through screens, "if the county doesn't receive the financial disclosures and tax statements, the HOA can be flagged as inactive. After that, it loses its authority to fine or enforce anything." I blinked. "You're saying all her fines are illegal?" Denise smiled. "Technically, yes. Without an active standing, their enforcement actions have no legal ground." That was the moment I knew. We had her. That weekend, I called an emergency meeting. Not Karen's kind of meeting, ours. We spread the word quietly. Flyers slipped into mailboxes. A few text messages. No HOA channels. By Saturday afternoon, 23 neighbors packed into Bob's backyard. I stood by the patio table with the county printout in my hand. "Everyone here's had enough of Karen," I began. "Well, I've got news, and she's been breaking the law. Our HOA hasn't filed required financial disclosures for 2 years. Which means—" I paused for effect. "Every single fine she's issued is void." The crowd murmured, gasped, then started clapping. Someone shouted, "About time!" Another yelled, "She fined me for my mailbox color!" I held up my hand. "I'm not saying we storm her house with pitchforks. I'm saying we go through the right channels. We're filing a complaint with the County Oversight Board first thing Monday." But Karen must have caught wind of it. The next day, she was on my porch, clipboard in hand, sunglasses on, fury radiating off her like heat from asphalt. "Mr. Miller," she said sharply, "I understand you've been spreading false accusations about this HOA." I crossed my arms. "Not accusations, facts. County records show we're not compliant. You haven't filed the disclosures." She smirked. "Those are clerical delays. Nothing that concerns homeowners." "Actually," I said, "it concerns every single person you find, including me." Her tone turned icy. "If you continue this baseless campaign, I'll have no choice but to escalate." "To who?" I shot back. "The county?" "Oh, wait, I already talked to them." Her jaw tightened. For the first time, she didn't have a comeback. She just turned and marched off, heels clicking like gunshots on the pavement. Amanda watched through the window. "You just poked the bear." "Good," I said. "It's about time someone did." Monday morning, I filed our complaint with the county's Community Association Oversight Division. We attached every letter, every fine, every piece of proof. Denise, the clerk, helped us format it properly. She even included an internal note to fast-track the investigation. By Wednesday, an inspector named Marcus Hensley showed up at Maple Creek. Tall guy, calm voice, county badge. Karen met him at the clubhouse, all smiles. Fake ones, of course. "Mr. Hensley, how lovely to see you. If you needed documents, you could have just called." He nodded politely. "We did call. 3 times. No response." Her smile twitched. "I've been very busy managing community affairs." Marcus opened his folder. "Busy enough to skip filing for 2 consecutive fiscal years?" The silence that followed could have frozen the sun. Word spread like wildfire. Within hours, the whole neighborhood knew a county investigator was there. People peeked out their windows. Some even brought lawn chairs to watch. Marcus spent nearly 3 hours in the clubhouse. When he walked out, he didn't say much, but his face said plenty. Karen followed behind him, red-faced and trembling with rage. Later that evening, she sent a community-wide email, a wall of text defending herself, blaming clerical delays and insisting everything was under review. But no one was buying it anymore. That weekend, she called for an emergency HOA meeting. Half the neighborhood showed up. The air was thick with tension. Karen stood at the podium trying to sound composed. "I understand there's been confusion," she said. "I want to assure everyone the HOA remains fully functional." I raised my hand. "Then where are the county receipts for the last 2 years?" Her lips thinned. "That information is pending." Marcy shouted from the back. "We're done believing your lies!" The crowd erupted, shouting, clapping, arguing. Karen banged her gavel over and over, screaming, "Order! Order!" But the order she'd ruled with for years was gone. After that night, everything moved fast. The county's final report arrived within 2 weeks. It confirmed everything. The Maple Creek Estates HOA had failed to submit financial disclosures, failed to register annual budgets, and had been operating without legal status for over 24 months. The penalties? Severe. Under county law, their charter was automatically dissolved. I remember standing on my porch when the notice came. Interfered? I interrupted. "You fined people into misery for 2 years. You broke the law, Karen. The county didn't make an error. You did." The room fell silent. For the first time, she didn't have that smug confidence. Her voice cracked. "I was trying to protect this community. Without order, things fall apart." "No," I said quietly. "Without compassion, things fall apart." She stood there, speechless, eyes darting between the neighbors she once controlled. But instead of support, all she saw was disappointment. Then Marcy spoke up. "Karen, it's over. We just want to live, not be ruled." Karen looked down, lips trembling. For a second, I almost felt bad for her. Almost. That meeting marked the end of her influence. Within a week, she'd stopped emailing, stopped patrolling the streets. Her clipboard disappeared, the flags came down, and her once perfect lawn started growing wild. It was like watching a queen lose her crown, and her purpose with it. But the rest of us? We finally started rebuilding. Not a new HOA, but something better. A real community. We organized weekend barbecues, block parties, and even a neighborhood cleanup. No fines, no rules. Just people helping each other out because they wanted to, not because they were told to. One afternoon, while I was painting the fence, Mr. Jenkins, the old veteran, Karen had harassed about his garden gnomes, stopped by with a grin. "Ethan," he said, "I put my gnomes back." "All of them," I laughed. "Good, you earned it." "Damn right," he said. "Feels good not having someone measure my grass with a ruler anymore." We both laughed, but deep down I felt something else. Relief. For the first time since moving here, Maple Creek felt like home. Then one evening, just as the sun was setting, there was a knock on my door. I opened it, and there she was. Karen. But this wasn't the Karen I remembered. No clipboard, no pearls. Just tired eyes and a manila folder in her hands. "Mr. Miller," she said softly. "Can I talk to you?" Amanda appeared behind me, cautious. "Everything okay?" "I'm not here to argue," Karen said. "I just need to say something." I stepped onto the porch. "Go ahead." She took a deep breath. "I was wrong." I didn't expect that. "I thought I was doing the right thing," she continued. "Keeping the neighborhood perfect, following the rules. But somewhere along the way, I stopped seeing people. I saw violations instead of families. Her voice cracked. And I hurt a lot of good folks because of it. I stood there speechless. The woman who'd made our lives miserable for years was finally admitting it. I lost myself in control, she said quietly. When the county dissolved the HOA, I realized I'd built my identity on it. Without it, I didn't know who I was. She held out the folder. These are the HOA's old records, fines, complaints, everything. I thought you should have them. Maybe you'll do better than I did. I took it, still in shock. Karen, thank you. She gave a small, sad smile. Don't thank me. Just make this place better than I did. Then she turned and walked away. That was the last time I ever saw her. Months passed and Maple Creek thrived. Lawns still looked good. Not perfect, but real. Kids played until dusk. Neighbors shared tools, recipes, and laughs. And that folder? I used it to start something new. A neighborhood committee, not an HOA. No fines, no threats. Just volunteers who wanted to make life easier for everyone. We called it the Maple Creek Neighbors Network. We handled things like fixing streetlights, helping elderly residents, and organizing charity drives. And this time, every voice mattered. Every decision was open, transparent, human. One Saturday, during a community cookout, Amanda nudged me. Look over there, she said. I turned and saw Karen standing by the sidewalk watching from afar. She wasn't dressed up, just casual clothes, a grocery bag in her hand. When our eyes met, she smiled faintly, almost shy, and gave a small wave. I waved back. For the first time, it wasn't tense. It wasn't awkward. It was peaceful. That night, as the fireflies flickered over Maple Creek, I sat on my porch and thought about everything that had happened. The rules, the fines, the anger, the justice. And the lesson hit me hard. Power doesn't make a community. People do. All Karen ever wanted was control. But what this neighborhood needed was connection. Sometimes we fight so hard to be right, we forget to just be kind. So if you're watching this and you've ever dealt with someone like Karen, someone who uses authority to push others down, remember this. Stand your ground. Stay calm. Do your homework. The truth has power. And when good people stand together, even the biggest bully can't win forever. Because rules might build fences, but kindness builds neighborhoods. Stand up for fairness. Don't let power silence community. Because at the end of the day, real neighbors look out for each other.